Now, tonight I'm reminded of a common phrase I hear often from my younger friends. They like to say, it's never that serious. And many times I disagree with them because I really believe there are many things in life that are quite serious and ought to be taken as such. But I revisit those words tonight because for the first time in a long time, I agree. It is never that serious. Yes, I'm talking about the politics that is going on in this country right now. Before you call me names, let me state that politics is indeed not a small matter. As a matter of fact, a lot of what happens to us every day depends on politics. But I insist it is never that serious. It is not serious enough for us to throw out every form of good manners we have learned in our childhood. No, it is not serious enough for us to insult each other and tear apart even the most meaningful of relationships. You see, today, anyone arriving in Kenya will be mistaken to think that an extraterrestrial object has been unleashed from outer space and is cruising perilously towards Kenya with an expected landing date of 9th August. How else can you explain the hysteria that we see on social media every day? The hate, the spite, the tribal profiling, the disrespect, and everything disdainful. How else can you explain the hubris on the campaign trail and the endless stream of insults, some of them unprintable, being generously dished out by the politicians at rallies and funerals? How else can you account for the fact that the audiences clap and urge the so-called leaders on to spew even more garbage? Ladies and gentlemen, I have had the privilege of covering 4 general elections, 2 referenda, and a repeat presidential election, and I can tell you without fear of contradiction that the amount of energy we spend insulting and disrespecting each other in the name of these politicians is not worth it. Sample this. In 2002, Uhuru Kenyatta was running for president on a Kanu ticket. At the time, Raila Odinga had said Kibaki Tosha, which means they were on opposite sides now of the political divide. Come 2005, at the constitutional referendum, Uhuru, then leader of the official opposition, and Raila Odinga, a cabinet minister at the time, were now fighting on the same side to reject the draft constitution. That was the beginning of the Orange Democratic Movement. 2 years later, in 2007, Uhuru Kenyatta was now backing Mwai Kibaki's re-election bid against Raila Odinga. A few months after that election, Mwai Kibaki and Raila Odinga had shaken hands following a fierce contest and deadly violence. And once again, Raila and Uhuru are now in the same government. Of course, they parted ways again and fought on different sides in 2013, 2017, before the surprise handshake in 2018. That story is somewhat similar for almost all the politicians that currently pollute our airwaves with spiteful speeches. They have learnt us very well. They do as they please at every turn, never consulting us, never requesting us. They just move, and almost on cue, we follow them and faithfully take our new positions as their keyboard warriors and other types of foot soldiers, fighting and insulting everyone on their behalf. I repeat, it is never that serious, folks. If it were that serious, how can Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, who once wore similar shirts and held hands like lovebirds, be fighting each other today? If our politics were that serious, how can Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, who used to say so many unprintable words against each other just 5 years ago, be calling each other my brother today? If politics was a life and death issue that we have made it, how can Musalia Mudavadi be addressing the same rally with William Ruto just a few weeks after the ANC leader blasted the deputy president for allegedly insulting the very government that pays his cooks and drivers? How can Martha Karua, who famously walked out on Daniel Arap Moi's meeting, be signing any pact whatsoever with Gideon Moi if this politics thing was that serious? Fellow Kenyans, I know that a lot hangs on this election, but please, let's keep it civil. You never know when the politician you adore today will shake hands with the one you hate, without consulting you, of course. In any case, no number of insults, however vile, has ever translated into a vote. Not one. I leave you with those famous words from a politician, no less, on how to deal with those political feelings. He would know.
Hii siasa ya 2017 ilinifunza mambo mingi. Usiweke maneno ya siasa kwa roho tafadhali. Weka kwa lungs. Ndio ukipumua tu after election. Nakwenda. Sawa sawa. Kwa sababu kama kuna mtu anafaa kuhangaika na kukasirika ni mimi. Imagine tumepiga kura ya rais tukashinda free. Kotini kasema turudie. Nikasunguka kaunti 19 kuombea Uhuru kura. Na ule mtu ametuangaisha hapa ni Raila. Handshake ikafika nani? Raila sasa ndio wako bedroom state house. Sasa wewe bado unajiweka pressure ya siasa ya nini? Hii siasa wachana nayo. Hata mimi nimeinua mkono. Upepo ikielekea huko chini, wacha iende. Ikirudi kuelekea huko juu, wacha iende. Ikienda north, wacha iende. Ikienda south, wacha. Ikirudi, ikupate wewe ukiendelea na kazi yako.
Now, what Jackson Mandago, the governor of Uasin Gishu, is simply saying is this: it is never that serious. That is my angle for the week.